getting his first touch. One back.
What if I told you that Manchester United didn't just win football matches? They changed the course of football history itself. Not once, not twice, but again and again, in moments so dramatic, so impossible, they still feel unreal today. Last-minute miracles, career-saving goals, European glory born from tragedy, and nights that redefined what football even means. This is the story of Manchester United's most historical matches that changed football forever. Manchester United is not just a football club. It's a story of survival, emotion, and reinvention. From the ashes of disaster to the peak of European football, to nights where time itself seemed to stop at Old Trafford. These 7 matches didn't just shape United's legacy, they shaped modern football. So, sit back, because every single match you are about to see changed history in its own way. And we begin where European glory was born from heartbreak. Match 1, 1968 European Cup Final versus Benfica. May 29, 1968, Wembley Stadium, Manchester United versus Benfica. But this wasn't just a final, it was destiny. 10 years earlier, the Munich Air Disaster destroyed a generation of young talent. Dreams were lost, futures were rewritten. But one man refused to let the story end, Sir Matt Busby. And now his rebuilt team stood on the biggest stage in Europe. The match was tight, nervous, heavy with history. Then came the breakthrough. Bobby Charlton, a man who survived Munich, now lifting United forward. Benfica equalized. Silence across Wembley. Extra time arrived, and with it, something unforgettable. George Best danced through defenders like it was a street game. Then Brian Kidd struck. Then Charlton again. 4-1. Manchester United, champions of Europe. And in that moment, they became the first English club to win the European Cup. But more importantly, they proved that even after tragedy, football can heal. Match 2, 1990 FA Cup versus Nottingham Forest. January 7th, 1990. Old Trafford was tense, dark, silent. Manchester United were struggling. No trophies, no identity, pressure everywhere. And Sir Alex Ferguson, he was on the edge. People called for his sacking. This match was his final warning. Opponents, Nottingham Forest. A strong team, dangerous, confident. The game was stuck at 0-0. Time was slipping away. And then, 59th minute, a cross into the box. Mark Robbins rises. Header. Goal. Old Trafford explodes. 1-0. That goal didn't just win a match, it saved a manager's career. Sir Alex Ferguson stayed, and football history changed forever. Because everything United became after this started with that one header. Match 3, 1999 FA Cup semi-final replay versus Arsenal. April 14th, 1999, Villa Park, Manchester United versus Arsenal. A rivalry burning with tension. This wasn't just a semi-final, it was war. Arsenal scored first. Then came United's response. Beckham equalized with a rocket from distance. But the real chaos came later. Roy Keane sent off. United down to 10 men. Arsenal awarded a penalty. History on the line. David Seaman stands tall, but Peter Schmeichel dives. Save. And suddenly, belief returns. Extra time. Ryan Giggs receives the ball. He runs, and runs, and runs. Arsenal defenders chasing shadows. Then the strike. Top corner. He tears his shirt off in pure emotion. 2-1. One of the greatest FA Cup moments ever witnessed. And a turning point in United's treble dream. Match 4, 1999 Champions League Final versus Bayern Munich. Camp Nou, Barcelona. The biggest night in European football. Manchester United versus Bayern Munich. United were chasing history, the treble, but football had other plans. Bayern scored early, then defended like warriors. For 85 minutes, United were broken. The clock hit 90. Defeat was certain, or so it seemed. Then, something unbelievable happened. A corner, Sheringham, 1-1. Stoppage time, another corner, Solskjaer, 2-1. History. In 93 seconds, Manchester United turned defeat into immortality. They completed the treble, and football was never the same again. Match 5, 2007 Champions League versus AS Roma. April 10, 2007. Old Trafford under the lights. Manchester United versus AS Roma. But what followed was destruction. Roma arrived confident after a 2-1 first-leg lead, but United had other plans. Carrick scored first, then came Ronaldo. Then Rooney, then more chaos. Every attack felt like lightning. Roma couldn't breathe, couldn't escape. Final score 7-1. One of the greatest attacking performances in Champions League history. Cristiano Ronaldo announced himself on the European stage, and Old Trafford witnessed pure football domination. Match 6, 2011 Premier League versus Arsenal. August 28, 2011. Old Trafford again, but this time, something brutal happened. Arsenal arrived expecting a fight. They got a night. Danny Welbeck scored first, then Young, then Rooney, a hat-trick. Arsenal collapsed. Every counterattack was lethal. Every mistake punished. 8-2, a scoreline that shocked the football world. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement, a changing of eras. Bonus match.
2018 Man United versus PSG.
March 6, 2019. Paris Saint-Germain versus Manchester United. No one believed United could qualify. They lost the first leg, 2-0. No key players, no hope. But football had one more twist. Marcus Rashford stepped up, penalty, goal, pressure rising, then VAR, then chaos. 2-1. United go through on away goals. A miracle in Paris. Another impossible night added to their legacy. Manchester United's history is not built on trophies alone. It is built on moments. Moments of pressure, collapse, and impossible comebacks. From Munich's tragedy to Wembley's redemption. From Ferguson's survival to the treble miracle in Barcelona. These matches didn't just change Manchester United, they changed football itself. Because they proved one thing. Never write off Manchester United, ever. And maybe that's why, decades later, we still talk about them like they just happened yesterday. If football history like this gives you goosebumps, subscribe to Kickback Football.